It used to be 7,400 at the peak. A year ago, 5,500. Now, we're 3,300.
So there is a part of this conversation that organizations are not being very honest about. If you go from 7,700 odd employees to 3,300 in a very short space of time, there is no way that AI is picking up the slack in all totality from the humans that you have lost from the workforce. AI metrics are great, and a lot of companies will talk about how they've been able to reduce workforce due to AI. They've been able to make things more efficient because of AI. But I would also love for these companies to publish metrics on how many of their customers, after 2 minutes speaking to an AI, say, I want to talk to a human. Not because AI isn't awesome. I am a big AI advocate, but I believe we need more honesty in this conversation. There is a gap between how AI functions today and how you are expecting for it to function in the future. But what is happening is decisions are being made today as though AI has already reached that level of capacity and functioning. AI still needs to be monitored. AI still requires human intervention. So the gap between 7,700 odd staff and 3,500 odd staff is 3,500 staff picking up the slack and being overextended. That needs to be part of the conversation. There's been so many layoffs. There's been so many AI-enabled, what they like to call workforce optimization. So one person is effectively working the job of two people. It starts to look like I can't really take a day off because I just know that when I do, I'm coming back to the same thing that I'm trying to get over the line, but now it's multiplied by two. It also looks like not having time for the things that actually replenish you. Leaders and founders in this situation spend less time on hobbies, less time on recreational activities. So it now becomes a life where it's work, eat, sleep, repeat. So the gap is still there, and the goal or the expectation is that they will pick up the slack, and organizations are telling them, oh, but that's easy. You've got AI. AI is the perfect replacement for, you call it Lucy, and it is. There's a lot of times that continued functioning is mistaken for sustainability and efficiency, and that's simply not the case. You can spin up applications, you can spin up websites in a matter of minutes, but what is behind that? How is your AI developed website debugged if there is an error? How many people within your workforce have you decided you no longer require because you found an AI chatbot tool? Because something is functional does not mean it is sustainable, and it does not mean it is efficient. Not every situation where there is an initial success means lasting success. So many times that financial efficiencies look successful on the outside looks like cost savings, where cost cutting means cheaper materials and products that don't last as long as they should. And so was that successful? Was that the right approach? And how does that eventually help your organization when it comes to customer trust, retention, sustainability? Again, we have to interrogate what journey and decisions did you take to get there? Because that then determines how long you're going to stay there. So high-performing environments by nature are pressurized environments. They're environments where change is constant, where stakes are high, and where responsibility is even higher. Some of the pressure that you see visible is constant looping on the final decision maker. In a lot of organizations that I've worked with, I have seen that nobody wants to be the final decision maker. So you need to make a decision relatively quickly, but you want to talk to Jim. Then you want to talk to John. Then we cannot talk about this until we bring in Lucy. The reality is you don't want to be the final decision maker because there's too much pressure and too much responsibility without actual power. The other one that I'm seeing more recently is the pressure for every team and every employee to show that they're using AI efficiently, to show that they're demonstrating their ability to innovate by bringing AI into their workflow. Now, bringing AI into your workflow is a fantastic thing to do for efficiency. However, in the same vein, you are communicating, much like Meta has done recently, that you are asking them to train their replacement. That brings on pressure, that brings on resistance. When you're telling employees, hey, I'm going to be logging every single keystroke that you type because we want to use it to train AI and you are the best trainers. What happens when they finish training the AI? And you're announcing this in the same breath as you lay off thousands of people. Again, this provides additional pressure. It provides additional resistance for the human system. You are telling them to optimize themselves out of a livelihood. Human supervision of AI is still absolutely necessary. And I believe that this is so downplayed by organizations and so downplayed by AI advocates. The goal here is not to vilify the efficiency that you can get from AI. It is to remember that it is still a tool that still requires human supervision, that still has gaps. We normalize it for so many reasons. It's encouraged by society, by organizations. The world we live in today just doesn't stop. A lot of us work in organizations where you're expected to be available 24/7. You've got the company phone, you've got the company laptop. Showing that you're dedicated means they send you an email at 2 a.m. and you've responded at 2:50, right? So there's so much in life now that encourages that. And it's decorated in very, very insidious language like, oh, we believe in speed as a company value. I actually saw an organization mention that recently, and their description of that speed was responding to customer emails on a Saturday. That's not speed. That's a lack of work-life balance. So the world we live in today and the nature of work that we have today encourages these behaviors. It dresses it up in fancy language. And I see that with leaders all the time. When they are extending beyond their limits, there is a feeling like this is a good thing. It shows mastery, dedication. It shows I have earned the role that I am in. I am giving it everything I have. We encourage ourselves to do it. It makes us feel like we're worthy of the role that we have. It helps with imposter syndrome. When you have this drive to be the absolute best you can be across multiple layers, we need to be careful of the fine line between that and overextension. Leaders will tell you that there was a time in their life where they felt like that was necessary. There's so many layers that goes into how we show up in the world, how we show up in relationships, how we show up in partnerships, and how we show up in our work that go beyond, hey, I'm just a high performer. We must ask ourselves, why are you high performing? What is driving your high performance? And is it coming from a healthy place? If any of this resonates, click the link below to gain a quick snapshot of the signals that you are receiving. And as always, thank you for being here and see you on the next one.